Celebrations all across Kabul and the other cities of Afghanistan. Well, this day will be remembered as the great Delhi heist, the defending champions beaten by Afghanistan, a lesser fancied side. This has to be the greatest shock result of the 2023 World Cup. The defending champions find themselves in a tricky spot. Two solid experts in the studio on Cricbuzz Live. None of us expected this result. How shocking is this?
Certainly not. I mean, you look at that batting order and the kind of names which are there, starting from Besto to Malan to Root, Butler, Brook had a great innings out there, but there was not enough support. It is once again Afghanistan spin trio, just getting a little bit of help and putting a squeeze on and making sure that they secure this win. But no one expected, I wasn't expecting in the halfway mark. I always felt that Afghanistan actually fell short and couldn't really capitalize on the position which they had created for themselves. But turns out that 284 was more than enough for them.
How shocked are you, Parthiv?
Very shocked. There's no doubt about it. And Zach just said how many batters are there and how quality batting lineup England has. Even while 8 wickets down, 9 wickets down, we were still thinking that if Rashid doesn't get a wicket, Afghanistan might come under pressure. So that's a kind of expectation everyone has from England, especially the way they have been playing one-day cricket. So yeah, definitely shocking result, but that's a kind of boost this World Cup needed. You needed all the teams to stay in hunt. Now there are two teams which would be smiling, that is Pakistan and Australia. They would be thinking they are still in this race, but I think credit to Afghanistan just the way they've bowled and the way they've fielded today.
Afghanistan were at the bottom of the table at number 10 on that points table. Now with this result, they've got 2 points and they have gotten off the mark. Jonathan Trott, their chief coach, saw this coming. I think a day before this match, yesterday, I think this is what he said. He said he believes that this side has got the ability to upset any side. We've been close in previous matches. It's just about getting over the line and making sure that we do. So clearly, Zach, this guy knew that the potential is very much there. I suppose it's about all the ingredients coming together, which they did today.
Well, yes, all the ingredients were not coming together for sure. For Afghanistan, that was always the case. We've seen the first match also, which they played against Bangladesh. They got all out for 150, which doesn't speak much. But today, they were very good. They were good with the bat. I think you can say it was a patchy effort because they let go of the platform which they had set. As a coach, you got to be always hoping and believing that you can win games of cricket.
Yep.
And that is something which Jonathan Trott is trying to cultivate in that kind of a thinking in that group. He is successful today, and the team is England. So I think it will be doubly satisfying for him that against a team like England, he's managed to pull a victory. It will go a long way for Afghanistan also. It makes the coach's job that much easier to then create that belief going forward also. Knowing that England is a strong side, Afghanistan will take a lot of pride in securing this victory.
I think it's going to be a happy tremor on the points table as well. It stirs the pot a little bit. Afghanistan off the mark, as Parthiv Patel very rightly said. It's a result that will make Pakistan really happy. Australia, while they do find themselves at number 10, will also believe that England in trouble can mean good news for them. If they can get off the mark, it's a topsy-turvy table, Parthiv.
It is, and that's exactly what you want in World Cup. You don't want only 5 or 6 sides competing. You want all other sides to come to party, and that's exactly what Afghanistan has done today. This just opens up the table. It just opens up the Pandora's box for all other teams, and now every team will be wary of Afghanistan as well. They would be thinking that if they've beaten England, so we cannot take them lightly, and that belief will Afghanistan will carry that in their games, that if we can beat England, if we can beat world champions, we can beat anyone. So they'll definitely be coming up with a different energy when they play the other games. But yeah, I think it's great to see that Afghanistan pull out a great victory today, and I'm sure this will, as I said, that's a kind of injection or a boost this World Cup needed.
Now, while of course we will talk about the losing team in just a bit, but Afghanistan clearly, the big story, credit where it's due, they seem to be a team on a mission tonight. There was something about that body language when Fazalak Farooqi opened the bowling. He got the opening wicket, leg before wicket as well. And somehow it seemed like they were in the zone to make some magic.
Yeah, with the ball, yes, because they had to show that kind of intent and energy out there on the field. If you are talking about the momentum shift, because their batting innings, they started brilliantly. Gurbaz had to be credited for that. I think the belief which you're talking about, or that intent which you're talking about, that showed from that first partnership.
Yep.
You know, England were put under pressure, and then they crawled back into the game. So that is something they had to work hard for. They managed to, at halfway mark, you felt that, okay, 50 overs done. England are comfortably placed now. Things could have been very bad. Afghanistan on the other side must be thinking, oh, we let the momentum go. We had the opportunity, but we couldn't really capitalize on that. But they made it up with bowling, and there was little bit of swing on offer. Their fast bowlers, actually, their contribution shouldn't go unnoticed here.
Yeah.
You look at Naveen ul Haq taking important wicket of Jos Butler, and Bairstow, we know what he can do. Now you go back to the game which they played on the same venue against India. When Indian batters went out there, Rohit showed that intent and put Afghanistan bowling under tremendous pressure. Batted the way he batted. We thought something like that will be on display from England side. But I think in this World Cup, they've been tentative with the bat. This game further proves that there is something missing in terms of thought process, I will say.
Yeah.
Because their approach have always been dominating.
Yeah.
They failed to dominate. In fact, they looked like they were on the defensive. Like you look at the dismissals also, Joe Root playing the ball, which should have been on the front foot, he went on the back foot. There were a lot of batters were consciously going on the back foot, which didn't really help. And credit to all the spin bowlers, which actually made use of the conditions. It's not one of those pitches where you are seeing a whole lot of help for spinners.
Yeah.
There was little bit. It wasn't that much difficult. You look at the last 10 overs when the game got over, you still had 70, 80 runs to go. So that shows that the wicket there were no demons in the wicket.
Yep.
It was just a team feeling the pressure, wickets being taken by Afghani bowlers, creating that scenario for England, and no one really standing up. So it's something which they have to figure out within that group in terms of approach. Maybe they were overthinking when they came to Indian conditions, the kind of approach they should have. But certainly Afghanistan spin trio will take a lot of pride in making use of the conditions, which is going to give them a lot of boost. This has been their success formula, isn't it?
Yep.
If Afghanistan had to win, the bowling card should read like this, where Rashid Khan has contributed, Mujib has contributed, and Nabi also had contributed.
Yeah, you know, in the pre-show we were talking about how perhaps Afghanistan are short on strike force with their ball, but Parthiv, this seems like more a story of the sum of all parts being more than just individual bowling stars in Rashid Khan or Mujib.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been talking about. So if you want to win games, you cannot win game by only just one bowler contributing. You need other bowlers to contribute. And Zach spoke about the bowling card. This is how the bowling card should look. So you need someone to take 3 wickets. You need someone to take 2 wickets, and you need a couple of wickets here and there, which Fazal Farooqi provided that initially, and then Naveen ul Haq coming in and taking those wickets. So I think that's exactly how it should be. You can win games, odd games, by just one bowler contributing.
Yeah.
So you need that someone to put that pressure. And if you look at Mohammad Nabi's figure there, 6 over 16 for 2, then he was choking the runs. He was not giving those singles. He was not conceding those boundaries. And Mujib got wicket from the other end. So that's exactly how it should be. It was a great display of bowling in partnership, which we don't talk about it too often. But I think it was, Afghanistan bowlers should be really proud the way they've bowled today.
Mujib might not agree with the assessment that they are short on bowling strikers, because, well, he opens the bowling as well, and I'm sure he considers himself a strike bowler. So what if he's a spinner now? This is his contribution. With the bat, scored very crucial 28 runs, which took them to that score, and then the 3 wickets as well. So an all-rounder who's sort of worth his weight in gold, a young man as well.
Yeah, when you look at the whole game and how it went, you needed those runs, isn't it? If there were, say, 30 runs short and 28 runs is the contribution from Mujib in today's game, uh, shows that at no point, even if they were losing wickets, and that's what we are talking in the mid-show, that even though they were losing wicket, and that's why we said that the pitch is playing well, because if you show that intent, it's going to be possible. That's what Afghani batters did. Rashid also contributed with the bat, and Mujib, no one was expecting at that stage, chipping in with 28 runs. Looking very huge at this stage. I think that that contribution took the pressure off in when England were losing wickets. So that goes a long way. So he had a terrific game with the bat and ball.
Well, England had no respite. On one end, they had Mujib, who had his tails up, and on the other, well, there was Rashid Khan, who was once again brought in very late, and then there was Mohammad Nabi in his 150th. So everything suddenly, surprisingly, of course, pleasantly surprising, that everything came together. Rashid Khan once again knew that there was an opportunity, knew he had to put his hand up, and these are his numbers. 30 dot balls, just putting that pressure, piling on the pressure.
That's exactly what he does. That's exactly what we've been talking about. He didn't ran after taking wickets. He started putting that pressure, and that's how you take wickets. Out of 30 balls, he's bowled 30 dot balls out of his 57 balls. That's where you put batter to take that extra risk, and that's where you take those wickets. And Rashid Khan did that, and he came to bowling in a different situation today. Usually, every time he has come on to bowl when there is no wicket down, the run rate is also about 7.5. Now here he came to bowl when there were 3 wickets down. So he could bowl the way he wanted to bowl. He could take those chances, and all the chances which he took paid off today.
Malan looked really good while he lasted, but then Mohammad Nabi just kept going at Malan. He got the wicket of Sam Curran as well. So for him to come good as well, it just looked like every piece of the puzzle kept sort of fitting into place.
It did. I think that's how the whole bowling effort looks like. And those wickets at crucial times makes a huge difference. Nabi taking 2 left-handers. I think as an off-spinner, if you are there, you want to create that scenario. 6 overs, 16 runs, not giving anything away and taking 2 wickets at that stage, and the big wicket of Malan. Even with Sam Curran, that partnership was just looking to build there for England. Broke that partnership again. So yeah, I think on the whole, the spin trio as we speak of, Mujib had a terrific day with the bat and ball. Rashid did what Rashid does, and Nabi contributing with those crucial breakthroughs in a very tricky scenario of matches. I think was of the match was something which was very important.
A good bowling attack can make a good captain look better.
Yeah, it does. I think it's today's I think it's a classic example for someone who believes in matchups. The coaches who believe in matchups. It's a classic example where Nabi comes in and takes 2 left-handers out. Joss Butler has his problems against in-swinger bowlers, and so Naveen ul Haq comes in and takes that wicket off Joss Butler with that in-swing. Same with Johnny Bairstow. He has his problems with left-arm seamers, so in-swinger he gets that wicket. So a bowling coach would be really happy that this is something we had planned, and when left-handers comes in, you should give it to Nabi. If Butler comes in, you have to make sure that we use that in-swingers. So all the matchups came up really well for Afghanistan today.
Yes, I suppose they got up, they woke up on the right side of the bet, Afghanistan. It was a complete performance, and the bowlers, what they did was clearly the icing on the cake. England will not be feeling good. They came here as champions. Now they find themselves in a position where they will have to win pretty much every game from here on in to give themselves a chance of making it through to the semi-finals of the ICC World Cup 2023. This batting card, Harry Brook, of course, the top scorer, but the other scores, the way they got out, were they complacent or did they misread the pitch?
I don't think they misread the pitch. I think it was a right decision to win the toss and bowl first. I thought it was about the approach which England was batting with. It was neither their approach which attacking, or they were not even trying to rotate the strikes. They were like kind of hanging in between, and just the way you think, the mindset was probably the bigger problem than anything else here. I thought Afghani bowlers were keeping it simple. They were not trying to do anything, and even England batters were not trying to do anything. They were not trying to make a move there. So I think that mindset probably was the bigger problem than anything else there.
Were England caught napping? Did they take Afghanistan lightly? Would they have started this game saying, all right, 2 points up for grabs, this should be easy?
Well, you take a cue from what happened against New Zealand. The slower bowlers were bowling. They couldn't really get going. They didn't get to a total which they would have been happy with on that particular pitch. Today is a similar sort of a story. You've seen the slow bowlers taking control of the game, putting England batters under pressure, maybe not able to rotate strike, maybe in two minds of being attacking or being defensive. So you are thinking, okay, you have to go cautiously. When if you are going cautiously, then you should be able to rotate the strike, keep that scoreboard ticking. Those kind of things are not happening. Then again, we've been talking about it. That calls for a big shot, which will put you at risk of losing wicket. What we saw today was that too much of back foot play, I think, was evident, and missing the length. Not able to judge the length properly was something which was evident. If you look at those dismissals, Root also got out in that fashion. Harry Brook also looks to play on the back foot, had a good innings, but eventually when he got out like that. Few of the batters didn't have a clue, like Livingston also was stuck there at the crease. So all those things they need to rectify, but I think it's more to do with how you are thinking about the game or whether you are second guessing. That freedom, what we've seen England batting lineup bat with, has not seen so far in the tournament.
I think the mode of dismissal also tells you a lot of things. That none of the batters tried to got out playing big shots. So all the dismissals were except Joss Butler was trying to play a big booming cover drive. Everyone was like got out. You could say that soft dismissals. They were not trying to play shots. Root, whether it was Malan, a soft push. Sam Curran was trying to just defend and got out. Livingston missing out a straight ball. So it's a mode of dismissal. It tells you the mindset. I think that's where England, I don't think England caught napping. I think it's the approach and the mindset which we have been talking about. That was the bigger shock for them.
England play South Africa next at the Wankhede Stadium on the 21st. They've got about 5 or 6 days to recover from this rude shock. Tabraiz Shamsi and Keshav Maharaj will be licking their lips. But at the Wankhede, so that becomes a slightly different game altogether.
Yeah, but look, South Africa have been playing good. So that is something which everyone has taken note of. England so far have not looked like defending champions. They've not looked like the England which everyone were trying to gauge. So they've not come to the party as yet. If they have to turn their campaign around, they'll have to do something very fast. And if you have to turn it around, then you have to do it against a good team, against a strong opposition, to get that belief back into the camp and get things moving. I think that's what England will have to look to do. Ben Stokes, I think, will be, again, everyone will be thinking that should we push him, should we get him as soon as possible. He might be pushed, I think, to play sooner than later. But I think some chats around the approach, some chats around the fine tuning with the freedom of expression, freedom of expressing yourself out there in the field, that is missing with the England team right now.
The man that Ben Stokes is expected to replace has done his chances no harm. The only positive for England in this match, Harry Brook looked good, 66 attractive runs.
Yeah, he did look brilliantly. The way he was batting, the kind of shots he was playing, the few cover drives and a few back foot shots which we saw. I think that is the reason why England has put that belief into Harry Brook. They believe that he's a player for future, and that's why they are backing him. Obviously today there was no support from the other end. If there was some kind of support from the other end, England should have chased down this total. But yeah, Harry Brook was the only shining light out of this England's batting card today.
What do they do at the Wankhede against South Africa? Who do they drop? If Stokes is fit.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think you will see some changes. You will see some changes from England side for sure. They would want to get Moeen Ali also somehow in the mix. That's the way I'm seeing it. Maybe Vokes is also under pressure. Sam Curran, they'll be debating. They will look at creating. I think England at this point will look for a pivot in the World Cup. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
So they'll have to stir things around, make some changes for sure.
SOS to Brendan McCullum? Does it help? I don't know.
So it doesn't need that. They just, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to sit in the dressing room anyway, and they want to play the way they want to play. It's just about, SOS to their mindset, not to Brendan McCallum. They just go out there and do what they've been doing. That's something which they've drifted away from their own game plan, which has given them success in last 5-6 years, and they've gone away from that, and that is the reason why they're finding themselves into this kind of position.
Owen Morgan is around. Maybe they could have a word with him. But well, it's a loss that they will take a lot of time to recover from. That Joss Butler dismissal, of course, credit to Naveen ul Haq, but that will make Joss Butler worry.
See, I think it was a brilliant setup. If you look at Naveen ul Haq's, that just get that in swinger out of the way, and before that, all the deliveries which Naveen ul Haq bowled were out swingers. And see, Joss Butler's technique. If you look at him, he always stays inside the line. Once when you're playing in swingers, if you stay inside the line, you tend to create that gap between bat and pad, and that's been happening with Joss Butler. But the setup was brilliant. You got to give credit to Naveen ul Haq. But see, if you look at the difference between Joss Butler and Harry Brook actually he doesn't stay inside the line. He stayed besides the line so that you can cover that in swing and play it through the leg side. But Joss Butler stays inside the line. That's why he goes, basically goes against the spin, and that is the reason why you can create that gap. So you got to give credit to Naveen ul Haq that delivering that right ball at the right point of time.
Expect a few spicy headlines in English newspapers. The English media is going to have a lot of things to say in tomorrow morning's newspapers. Questions will be asked of their all-rounders as well. Three of them, Curran, Wokes and Livingston. Clearly, questions will be asked because Wokes very expensive. Sam Curran not much with the ball either. Livingston as well. I mean, the performances aren't coming. If you are batting till number 8, Wokes at 8, you can't not be able to score 285.
Because of their caliber. I think everyone is more than capable of single-handedly winning a match from any situation. And when you see a batting card like that, the immediate reaction to that is disappointing effort. And I think that's what England team will be right now thinking about. You can be put in tough situations, but good teams find a way of winning a game from there. And for that, individuals need to step up. Harry Brook was one individual for England today who looked like needed some support and could have got the team over the line. Wasn't the case, but I think that's something which England will be thinking of for sure. Because they're a good team, they're defending champion. It's a solid batting lineup. When you're looking at that batting card, you will be looking at it in disbelief that, oh, did this really happen? And I think that's the same reaction they'll have. It's an upset in the World Cup, and they know that. You could see from the faces that they are one of the strong teams in the tournament. Losing like this is not going to really help their cause in the tournament. So I think they'll have to figure things out quickly, and they got to be honest with themselves. So to turn things around, first things you got to accept that okay, you are doing something wrong, and then the process starts.
It has to be a very deflating loss for the defending champions. Delight for Afghanistan, who fly to Chennai to play New Zealand on Wednesday, the 18th of October. This spin trio will perhaps make more than a wave against an informed New Zealand. What's coming up next at the ICC Cricket World Cup? Two former champions who are yet to get off the mark will be in action in match number 14 at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow. These were the two finalists at the 1996 World Cup. Australia, the most successful side in the history of white ball cricket, of ODI World Cups for sure, are looking like a pale shadow of themselves. What's happening with Australia?
I would say, actually, there's nothing happening with them. At this point of time, if you look at Mitchell Marsh, there are short of runs. David Warner has not got runs. The bowlers have not been able to take those early wickets, which they did it only against India. They've come up with only one spinner, which is Adam Zampa, who has taken only one wicket. Maxwell is the only bowler who has looked like taking wickets, but he's not your wicket taker. So there are a lot of questions, and top of everything, their fielding has been very, very disappointing. Against South Africa, they dropped about 7 catches, and that's something which you do not relate with Australian cricket. I mean, they are the first team that they take a lot of pride in their fielding, and that's something which is probably they must be thinking about.
I see a lot of chatter from cricket opinion makers, and off the record as well as on the record, they say that maybe Pat Cummins is not the kind of leader they should have come to this World Cup with. Do you agree to that assessment?
I don't really look at all those kind of things. Obviously you have the decision makers. The decision makers have put faith in your ability, and it's not that he's just made captain right now. He's been captain for a while. So all those things, they give room for these kind of debate when the team is not doing
Not
well.
doing well.
So it's all linked with that. I think they still have time in the tournament, and I think today's result, actually, they will take a lot of hopes from, and they can start. They still have time to turn things around. That team is capable of doing it. That spinner shot in these conditions, that's something which immediately you feel when you look at that side. That's something which was evident in the first game they played against. They've started the tournament with a couple of losses, and this upset is definitely going to help them, but provided they believe in that. And now the real question for that group is whether they have it in them to turn things around. Are they going to look at this situation as an opportunity, as a challenge which they want to overcome, or they just want to succumb to the pressure which has been applied right now of just by the magnitude of the tournament?
Yep, Australia have lost 7 out of their last 8 ODIs. Sri Lanka have been troubled with injuries to their first choice players as well. Shanaka goes out, but before we move to Sri Lanka, Parthiv, quickly, would you bring in Sean Abbott for Marcus Stoinis for this game?
Not really. I don't see Australia making any changes in their playing 11, because you see Marcus Stoinis has been playing in Lucknow for a while. I mean, for full last year he has played for LSG there, so he knows the conditions well. So it would be a question of Marcus Stoinis or Cameron Green. But at this point of time, they've made that change in bringing in Marcus Stoinis, and usually Australia is a kind of a team, they don't make too many changes in their playing 11. So I don't see them making any changes tomorrow. It will always be about the kind of cricket they want to play. And if you look at their batting lineup or their full playing 11, there are enough experienced players. So that's where Pat Cummins doesn't come into play. I mean, by David Warner or Steve Smith or Glenn Maxwell, they don't need the leader to push them to play well. They already are proven cricketers. They already have a lot of motivation to win that World Cup again. So that's something they should be thinking of. So I also with Zag in terms of thinking of whether Cummins should be captain or not. But there are enough experienced players. They don't need someone to push them.
Well, if you look at Afghanistan, I suppose the seeds of that big result against England were sown by Rehmanullah Gurbaz at the top, and runs not coming from Warner and Mitchell Marsh, making life difficult. They're just not able to take off. That launch pad isn't there, especially with the bat.
Well, obviously Warner is a match winner, so they need that start. They've carried Travis Head also. So that opening partnership, obviously everyone is going to give importance to. We'll have to wait and see when he's going to be fit and available. I think if they've made that call and the kind of situation they are in, they would want to make that change as soon as possible. Other than that, Mitchell Marsh is someone who again is going to be filling in. He was normally batting at number 3, but in absence of Travis Head, he's opening the innings. Opening stand is always going to be very crucial. I think putting runs on the whole is going to be very important. I think today's game is also a great example of that. We always have been talking about this, that if you have runs on board, you can create pressure. So important thing is you have to find a way of doing that. When you're looking at that Australia side also, there are enough players who are capable of getting a team to that position with the bat in hand. So when you are in this kind of situation, you're just looking at those individuals. Who are going to be those individuals who are going to step up for the team and create that spark, which will Australia, you can't see them at the bottom of the table. They are more than capable team of doing better than that.
Change in personnel, change in leadership for the 1996 World Champions Sri Lanka, Asia Cup finalists as well, remember. Well, no Darshan Shanaka, he has had to go back home. He's out of the World Cup, and that means there will be a change in leadership. Kusal Mendes has been the lone positive. The runs are being scored, but the bowlers are leaking far too many runs, Parthiv.
Yeah, exactly. I think you rightly said that no runs have been scored even in the game against South Africa, where South Africa had scored 428, but Sri Lanka had scored 326. Even against Pakistan, they'd got a very good score of 344. So yeah, the runs have been scored. There is no doubt about it. It's the bowling which is something Sri Lanka would be thinking of how to improve that. And the discipline in bowling, which is something been lacking in Sri Lanka's bowling. There are far too many wides, there are far too many loose deliveries. So that is something Sri Lanka would be looking to correct that. question marks over Pathirana's fitness also. He's been bowling. He has considered 90 runs in 2 games, but if you can take those 2 games out, he's been bowling well. He's bowled well in Asia Cup. So I think bowling is something which Sri Lanka would be thinking of improving for sure.
Chamika Karunaratne joins the squad in place of Darshan Shanaka. Kusal Mendis will be leading Sri Lanka for the rest of the World Cup. For this game to be played in Lucknow against Australia, any changes that you'd recommend?
Well, there are a couple of forced changes right away. So Shanaka is not going to be there, and you might not see Pathirana if there is an injury concern. So Kasun Rajita is someone who is there. Lahiru Kumara, so these are the two options which they have. Chamika Karunaratne coming back in the side. Whether he's going to be available or not, we'll have to wait and see. If he's available, then it's going to be a straight swap, I feel. And also Pathirana's fitness is something which they will be debating hard on. Other than that, we've seen Sri Lanka looked light on bowling because their frontline bowlers were missing. Wanindu was not there. Chamira is not there. Is a big blow for their campaign right from the word go. Tikshana also didn't start the campaign. His fitness is also, we have to wait and see how it holds up in the tournament. So there were few concerns which Sri Lanka walked in the World Cup with. So we just have to see now how they and that showed also in the tournament so far. Sri Lanka, when they scored runs against Pakistan, they couldn't really finish that game, couldn't really defend that total. Was another telling example of them being bowling light. So it's basically we have to wait and see what kind of impact they do it in the tournament, but it doesn't look like they're going to go all the way.
Yep, Hasaranga's absence clearly upsets the pace for Sri Lanka. Both these teams find themselves in the bottom half of the table at number 8 and number 10. Sri Lanka at 8, Australia at number 10. Both teams looking for their first win. Very quickly, we're going to wrap up very quickly, but who starts favourites and players to watch out for?
I think Australia definitely starts favourite. There is no doubt about it. I think, for me, Steve Smith is something, Australia will look up to. I think, he's their most experienced player and he's been batting well. So I think Steve Smith is someone which I'm thinking that players look out for Australia. And for Sri Lanka, again, easy choice. Kusal Mendis, he's been scoring.
He's taken my choice. Kusal Mendis, obviously, Shanaka not being there, being made captain. A lot will be dependent on him. So him for sure. And the start which you are mentioning, I think Warner is going to be the player to watch out for.
Yep, we'll see what happens when these two former world champions get into a contest at the Ekana Stadium in Lucknow. There was a fair bit of excitement around this joy factor question that we asked you in our pre-show. Let's remind you of the question. If Brendan McCullum has 101, Sunil Gavaskar has 106, Marco has 107, Border has 153, who is on top and with how many? Any clues, gentlemen?
I think it is about how many test matches you've played on trot. So probably without missing a test match. So it could be Alistair Cook. 157, 150. I don't know the exact number, but it could be that.
It's a front bencher. Knows it all.
Yes, seen the answer.
Very specific guess, I've got to say.
Very specific. That's what.
Chalo, let's find out. Let's find out what the correct answer is. Is it Alistair Cook? No, you couldn't have guessed this one, Mr. Patel.
Though
he said it exactly the way it is. Alistair
Exactly.
Cook played 159 test matches. He's read it from the run order.
There's nothing on run order.
Inside.
No, I didn't go inside.
He disappeared for a while, I think.
No.
Did you make a call
I
to
did
join?
not disappear. He disappeared. I was there.
Who has won it?
Who has won it? Yeah. Move on. Let's wrap it up. Some people have a flight to catch. Sudeep Ghosh, well done. Well done, Sudeep. Thumbs up to you, for you from Mr. Bhattacharya. May you win many, many more prizes. Who knows? Maybe someday a trip to Europe, maybe somewhere in Berlin. Who knows? Good luck to you. We're done for the day. Mr. Khan has to leave. Mr. Patel has to leave. I've got to go and catch up on some sleep. So it's been a good day. We've seen a great upset. For now, all I can say is well done, Afghanistan. Good luck, England. Australia, Sri Lanka in action tomorrow. Make sure you join Cricbuzz Live at 1:30 tomorrow with Gaurav Kapoor in action in this feature. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night. Sleep.